Right, so today before the live stream at CRC, this time around we're a bit more prepared. We sort of know what we're getting into. There's going to be a lectern for the spoken word. There's an ambient stage mic just to pick up, handshakes, footsteps, just things like that. There's going to be a few musical performances, so just a wireless mic and a DI for guitar. They'll both be having backing tracks as well. Backing tracks will be played off my laptop over Dante. And then there will also be a presentation, which will be a separate laptop, and that'll just have a 3.5mm jack in as well. Output-wise, there's a matrix out to the broadcast mixer. That input is a 3.5mm, so that's just going to go out of the AVs on the SQ5, their local outputs. And then the rest of these outputs are going to be coming out of the IO rack in the AV rooms. They've got a sort of internal patch bay in there that we'll utilise as well. Just a hall mix, which is just sort of a mix minus without vocals. We have a fallback for Lectern, so they can hear what's going on in the musical area. There's a performer fallback for the singer and guitarist, and then I've just got my Paffle bus on my wireless in-ears so I can walk around and troubleshoot things if I need to. So we've got all that already set up here on the SQ offline editor. Everything's all there. We'll run the whole show off the DCAs. Outputs are already patched, and so we'll just push this over the console so we're prepared and we can get going. Alright, just to sync over on the SQ, by the way, it's just pretty simple. Just go utility, data, and sync, and then you just press sync over there. And it just takes a few seconds, and now I've got all those channels loaded up. So we're bringing a slightly stripped back version of the Sunshine live stream we did the other day. Got the console, as usual, two fallbacks, Lectern and the performers. Because we know what our challenge is, we don't need as many cables, so we've just got power, a short stand, things like that. And then we have some XLRs and some Ethercon for the D-Snake and the networking. Network switch, wireless mic, and in-ears as usual. With the IO rack, again, we're going to be using it this time. That'll be in the AV cupboard. You can see what's inside there. Mics and everything, just got to get the shotgun mic as well. And then we'll be using the 6x2 stage box for the performers. Okay, so the car is all loaded up, so we're ready to go first thing in the morning. Alright, so it's the next day. Today's actually the day before the live stream. Yesterday I was just prepping for today. So we're going to get everything set up, just do a quick sound check, run through and make sure all the inputs and outputs are working as they should be. And then tomorrow is going to be the live stream first thing at around 9 AM. Alright, so everything's all been loaded in. This is the hall, which will be happening here, so all the spoken word presentation stuff will be up on that stage. And then I think somewhere in this area we'll have one of those risers, and then we'll have some musical items. This is the AV cupboard that I was talking about before. So we'll be using these patch lines to sort of integrate with our system, just as running cables up and down onto the stage. We'll pop our IO rack and stuff over here, and then our mix position will be again somewhere out here, along with the cameras and vision switcher. Alright, let's get started. So our rack is in place. It's just right next to the patch bay. So we've got all of our power set up. The way I sort of built these racks is the IO and switch both have power conditioners in them. And then I've just got some PowerCon outs, so that way I can just run a single power cable over here into the whole sort of stack. And then I can just link everything up with these little cables. And it just keeps things nice and neat. So about 15 to 20 minutes into the setup in the AV room, one of the staff members actually came and told us that the setup was slightly changing, so we weren't using the stage, so we wouldn't have to use all the internal wiring. So we just ended up moving everything out, just outside the door on the trestle table. It wasn't too big of a deal, we just had to move around some cases and just sort of rearrange how we're getting power. But that happens sometimes, they change their mind, and it all worked out well. There weren't really any issues on our part, so we just had to deal with it. So here's what the rack looks like from the back. Power's all connected up, same as before. All the wireless gear have the antennas mounted on the back, and they're all connected up to the network switch down here, just so I can monitor frequencies and check battery levels, things like that. The output for the mic and the IEMs, they're just going locally in there. Dante is connected to the switch, and then I've just got the network bridge enabled, so I can still control from the iPad, just over the one cable. It's nice and easy. And then there's also the mix out to the vision board, which will be positioned somewhere over there. And so this is what we've got set up for the performers at the moment. I'll have a wireless mic. Then we've got the foldback, an LED floodlight. The desk for that is over there. We have an amp provided by the school, and then one of the students is going to bring his own amp. All those connections are made at this stage box over here, and that runs behind these banners to the I/O rack, which you can see over there. So this is the I/O rack. It's pretty simple, it's quite overkill for what we've got going on today. So we've got all these stage boxes, they're coming in on these green connectors here. The Lectern and one of the ambient mics runs just along the banner. The stage is just over there on the other side of the banner. And then the S-Link cable just runs around the back over there. Right, up at the Lectern, it's pretty simple. We've got the main speaking position over here, just an NTG2. And then on either side, there's a pair of NTG ones just to pick up all the students. I think they'll all be doing the speech or something at the same time, so we just got those set up to pick up the extra students. So we didn't end up needing to use the whole mix. We just decided that it wasn't necessary. But how that would have worked is I've just got Ethercon from the switch. It's a bit long. That just comes into a coupler and then into a Dante 2-channel output adapter, and that just runs into the sound rep, which is sort of like an internal DSP. It runs to the amps, which goes to those speakers behind the banner over there. But we didn't end up needing that, so that's just going to sit there. We'll pack it up at the end. The lighting's pretty simple. It's just a LED floodlight over there. Control's really easy. You just got your red, green and blue channels, and then we can just sort of mix whatever colour you want for the two performers, and that just adds a bit of extra face light, bit of colour if they want it. We just got back. Everything's all unloaded and unpacked. Today went really well, actually. It was very smooth. It was a very easy gig too, just single lectern, ambient mics, the occasional musical performance, which was just vocals and guitar in most cases. Some people had backing tracks. The clients were really happy. Everything went well. There were no issues, no errors. So everyone walked out happy. It was a solid hour-long live stream, and it all went well. And that's about it. Thanks for watching.